Well, hello out there in YouTube land. This is Jay Klodek. I'd like to wish you all a Happy New Year. Anyway, reason why I'm coming to you this evening is to document my latest model project. What you see in front of you is the upper saucer of the brand new round 2 Polar Lights classic 1/350th scale USS Enterprise from the 1960s Star Trek television series. There have been plenty of videos on the web that have reviewed the parts and stuff. Model Man Tom did a very good review in my opinion. Other guys like TrekWeb have shown you their builds, so it's not my intent to duplicate everything that has come before, but I do feel I have some relevant information to contribute and maybe answer some of your questions. Specifically, one of the reasons why I'm building this project is I've gone and purchased the deluxe lighting kit from round 2. This is the deluxe accessory kit, which includes, in addition to lighting, it also includes the photo etch, the weathering decals, everything. Now granted, I don't plan to use everything in this box on this one model, but I figure might as well, if I'm going to use some of it, I might as well get all of it. So that's the plan. I'm also going to be using the Paragraphix photo etch set that Paul at Paragraphix came up with. Incidentally, Paul also designed the photo etch that comes in the deluxe accessory set and the photo etch that round 2 Polar Lights issued. But if you want to light your starship and you want to have an internal bridge and a shuttle bay, there are some neat little things that particular photo etch set has that you can't necessarily do by yourself, as I'll explain in a little bit. Anyway, let's get started. Okay, what you see in front of you are the two styles of bridge dome that are available for this kit. The particular 1/350th scale Enterprise kit that I got was one of the Premier Edition kits. And as a special bonus, in addition to the fact that the kit was only 1,701 issues and had a special holographic printed box, it also includes parts for the pilot version of the ship in addition to the standard parts for the series version of the ship. The particular model I am doing is going to be a series version, so I'm not going to be using the pilot parts, but I felt it was better to get the Premier version of the kit and spend a little extra money and get those parts now and store them for later, rather than getting the second kit later. Although you can purchase the pilot series parts separately should you want to go that route. But anyway, the reason why I have these two bridge domes sitting side by side is not just to point out the differences of the bridge dome, it's also to cover a very important topic to consider when you're actually lighting a kit. Let's talk about the importance of light blocking. Now, when you get plastic parts like this, they're all going to be molded in one uniform color. The only problem is if you shine a light through these parts, assuming I had a flashlight that works. By the way, these LED flashlights, they're cheap, but they work really well for light block testing. As you can see, I shine the light through the plastic, and you can see the plastic glowing. I mean, in some cases, you might want to have an effect like that, but for a starship like this, you probably don't want that. So what do? Well, you paint the inside of the parts or the outside where you do not want the light to show through, and it makes things nice and opaque. Let's take a look at the production series dome right here. I have sprayed the interior of this part with silver paint, specifically Tamiya silver. Just use the spray can paint. I didn't airbrush it. A little pricey for what it is, but the reason why I wanted to use the Tamiya silver is being that it's lacquer based, it dries really quick and it dries rock hard, and metallics, enamel metallics tend to be kind of fragile and are prone to rubbing off. This stuff won't rub off. You could probably save a few dollars and maybe get a big can of like Krylon Fusion, nickel silver, or something like that, but I had my paint available and that's what I used. But as you can see, shine the light, I mean, you got the light coming through the little window holes, but it's not coming through the rest of that dome at all. There might be one or two spots in there where I have to take care of a little bit of like a little Raytheon glow or something, but as you can see, the silver did its job. Now, some modelers might say, okay, yeah, first layer black paint, and then put on the silver metallic to get things to evenly distribute, but one thing that I've learned is that metallic paints, they give you a nice opaque finish in less coats than normal paints where you're just dealing with the pigment. That's because the metallic particles, being more solid than just pigment, they block the light really, really nice. Plus, also using silver in there will help to more evenly distribute the light. And so if there's an area where there might not be a bulb nearby, it should help to evenly distribute things. So, quite a difference. One advantage of the factory lighting kit that Round 2 Polar Lights makes is it includes some clear casted parts for certain elements of the interior, specifically the shuttle bay and the bridge section. Those particular parts are molded in gray in the standard kits. This right here, the bridge dome on the left, is one of the standard gray ones. The one I've got on the right here is my painted clear casted bridge dome. The advantage of having a clear casted dome versus an unclear one is, I mean, the standard bridge is okay, but the clear one allows you to light the interior and actually do an effect kind of similar to what we saw in the first pilot episode of Star Trek, The Cage, where they actually did a camera pan right into the bridge of the Enterprise, seeing Pike and company sitting there flying the starship. It was a nice effect. And, of course, it's one of those things that's kind of sparked the debate of, okay, is the bridge supposed to be centered with the turbo lift going to that little bump on the back, or should the view screen be forward, etc.? Anyway, I'll leave that up to you to decide that. I'm going with a view screen centered bridge interior myself. But anyway, in combination with the Paragraphix photo etch set, I'm in the process of finishing up this bridge interior. And when I'm done, don't know how well you can see that, but from the flashlight I'm kind of casting in some light from the outside. The view screens are clear. They've got the original kit decals on there, but I've got some clear tints on some of the view screens, plus also the buttons and such on the consoles. Let's try that. It's coming in reasonably clear. And then hopefully with the standard bridge dome installed with that silver paint, enough spill light should come over into the bridge area, kind of like a skylight, to illuminate the captain's chair and the navigation helm display the navigation helm console. Looking at the paintwork like this, I mean, it does look a little sloppy, but once it's installed in the bridge, it should be okay. The Paragraphix set also includes a set of photo etch bridge railings, both in the style of the series version of the ship, where you've got these two steps going down either side. The pilot version Pike ship didn't have that; it just had an unbroken railing going all the way to the front here. Also, if you look close, you'll notice there's a little bit of, I got a little bit of silver on the navigation console. I'm trying to get the astrogator display and part of the navigation console to show up in yellow, and the silver is there to kind of act as a light block. Once I've got it where I want it, then I'll paint back over in the black and the tan, and hopefully plug all those little holes. Still got a bit of work to go, but seems to be coming along reasonably well. If I were doing that, if I were trying to light a standard gray dome, I probably wouldn't be able to do much with the consoles, but I could cut the flat screen areas here and replace them with clear plastic. One thing that's nice about the Paragraphix set is they offer photo etch display screens, which work really well as light blockers. You also get it for the consoles. There's little cutouts there for the buttons, or at least the grouping of buttons, and as a result, apply them and they block light really well. Then it's just a matter of painting them. Other thing that's kind of nice is, one thing I did notice when I was painting this guy is, although the instructions don't really, the way that this bridge is designed, it doesn't really have those little blinky lights going between the console switches and the screen. I did notice that there is a little gap in there, so I put some clear yellow in that area and then used a fine line black pen to define the borders, and, well, it seems to be doing the job. So I'll flash up a still picture in the video to show you what that looks like. Once I get all the light blocks done, I'll install it in the bridge dome and test it out with the light circuits. Now, as well designed as the Polar Lights kit is, and they used a lot of resources to do this kit, primarily a set of drawing plans done up by Gary Kerr. However, a couple subtle little errors did creep in that weren't caught until the kit was produced. One of them, which is not really that glaring an error and not even that big a one, has to do with these little banks of three windows on the edge of the saucer. They're on the back edge of the saucer on either side of the neck pylon. Turns out, when the molds were cut, they cut the holes behind this panel line right here, when it turns out those little windows should actually be in front of the panel line. That error was pointed out a few weeks ago, and there's an easy fix you can do for it. I did the fix myself, very easy to do. I've even added a couple little wrinkles to my fix that should make it even easier for you, to where you don't have to necessarily whip out any putty or anything to fill the holes. But anyway, what I did was, the black areas correspond to where the original holes are molded in there. The white areas correspond to where the holes should be. But anyway, the fix to do, the way you do the fix is, first thing you do is you get some clear packing tape and just lay it over the original holes. So, in the case of this one, on this side, take a piece of clear tape, lay it over the holes on the on the back side. Then you take a fine line black pen, or at least what I do, and at least mark where the holes are going to be, where they are. In addition to that, I also drew in where the panel lines are and even put some reference targets on the saucer itself with a fine line black pen. Others have done it where they use an X-Acto to make the cuts. I decided to do it this way. Only problem is that the black ink does tend to be prone to rubbing off. So my next step after I did these was I carefully masked off this area and shot these with a layer of gloss coat just to seal those lines in. But as you can see, I've got 2 sets of tape, and then all you got to do is you transpose it. You move this one to the other side, and then you take the one from the other side and mark it to the with the window holes corresponding to the other side of that panel line. Then you drill the holes. In my case, I started with a pin vise, popped the holes, used a Dremel with an engraving tip to widen them, but didn't widen them out quite as wide a diameter as I would like, so then I used a round needle file, which turned out to be the exact diameter I needed, and cut through the holes that way. Now, the one key thing that you got to do, though, is where this panel line is, these new holes that you're drilling, plus the old area where the old window hole goes, they cross over the panel line a little. What do you do to fill that? Well, some people have used putty, but I came up with a slicker way to do it. Yeah, this little white part right here, you get 3 sets of these, one molded in dark black tint, one molded in white tint, and one molded in clear. So what I did was I took the black tinted ones, since I'm doing a lighted model, and I mounted them in the original holes, here to here. I did cut back the flange that overlapped this window bank, cut it back a little, and then after I glued it in with some Ambroid Pro Weld and made sure it was nice and dry, then I took my Dremel with an engraving tip and I just basically carved out the rest of the backing plate so that there was enough room for another set, which eventually is going to be the clear one, to fit into the holes. And it's a nice clean fix. You don't have to get out any 2-part epoxy putty or some Bondo or anything like that. And the best part is that since the plastic windows, which are being used to fill that hole, are made out of essentially the same plastic as the rest of the ship, they should sand at the same consistency. There's only a little bit of a gap in there that you got to fill around the windows to make it seamless, but as a result the plastic should sand nice and evenly. You don't have to worry about sanding too much of the putty or not enough of the plastic and maybe getting a little bit of an uneven finish. And as you can see with test fits, these white banks of windows are just being used for the test fit. When I'm going to mount the clear parts back there, and I'm going to lightly sand the back sides to frost them, and it appears that I do need to fill the edges where those windows are, but once I'm done there, I'm going to polish out those windows back out on the outside, and it should result in a nice, clean appearance. Well, in any event, that's where I'm at with my 1/350th Enterprise model right now. I still have some minor light leaks to plug on the inside bridge dome, but that's coming along. Now that I've got the interior of the saucer all light blocked, just like the bridge dome with the silver paint, I can now start installing the lights and doing some test runs. It's coming along pretty well. But anyway, next update video I do, I should have the saucer just about done as far as the lighting goes, and I'm waiting for a couple minor spare parts to ship before I can do a lot of work on the warp engines, but that'll be happening pretty soon as well. I do like the lighted effect with those spinning bussard end caps and the motors. Looks like a very good way to do it. Can't wait to get a chance to work my magic on those. And next bit I'm going to do on the interior after I'm done with the bridge interiors, I'm going to start work on the shuttle bay next and get that ready for lighting. So, in any event, that's what I got for now. As I said before, Happy New Year. Oh, one important thing I'll also point out too is when you do the light blocking, if you got any areas where you want glue to mount the parts properly, it's a good idea to use a little bit of masking tape and cover over the edges. That way you got some bare plastic. Otherwise, you'll have to scrape some of that paint off in order to get a nice clean edge for gluing. Now, this won't take care of all the light leaks, but it will take care of most of them, and then hopefully when it gets to the painting stage, there'll only be a couple of areas they'll need to spray a little bit of silver on the exterior before I actually put the primer coat and then the body coats on. But that's where I'm at right now. In any event, here's to a good 2013 building season, and hopefully I'll be coming back at you pretty quick with part 2 of my Enterprise build. In the meantime, thank you for watching.